Welcome to Jewishnews TV. Making news this week. And it's the end of an era for Hakoah Club. After 35 years serving as the social headquarters of Sydney's Jewish community, the club officially shut its doors on its Bondi Beach premises this week. Since Hakoah Club opened in Bondi in 1975, it has served as a meeting point for the young and old for all things ranging from sport and entertainment to food and simchas. The building was sold to the Toga Group in 2007. A new premises for the club has not yet been found, although speculation is rife that the club's future will be closely linked to sporting club Maccabi. Also making news, representatives of Victoria's German club Tivoli have expressed regret at news of a neo-Nazi gathering held at their headquarters in September. Speaking to the AJN, a committee member stressed that the club was unaware of the group's neo-Nazi ties and was against neo-Nazism. Meanwhile in Sydney, a gathering scheduled this week by a group called Club Nastia has sparked concerns among locals who claim it is a meeting allegedly comprising ultra-nationalists. The group was planning to meet at the headquarters of the New South Wales Humanist Society in Chippendale, pending a review of the Society's hiring policy. We now cross to international editor Aaron Shapiro in Melbourne for the World Headlines.
Thanks, Lexi. Our top story once again this week is at the United Nations in New York, where the Goldstone Commission report on the Gaza war of earlier this year is being debated in the General Assembly. The General Assembly is one UN body that has been historically heavily stacked against Israel, and the debate and resolution in the General Assembly reflects that. The Palestinian UN observer has vowed to work together with its traditional allies to pass a strong resolution that may lead to future discussions in the influential Security Council. Israel and its strongest ally, the United States, are trying to avoid this, arguing that first and foremost it would harm sensitive efforts to restart peace negotiations. However, whether or not the Security Council will discuss the Goldstone report remains to be determined. Back to you, Lexi.
Thanks, Aaron. Now to arts news. Marking its 20-year anniversary, the Festival of Jewish Cinema will celebrate the milestone with a panoramic view of contemporary Jewish cinema. From popular past favourites to the best new features from around the world, this year's festival also features some Australian films, including Rod Friedman's documentary, Wrong Side of the Bus. The film follows Melbourne psychiatrist Sidney Bloch as he returns to his birthplace of South Africa to reconcile feelings of guilt for not taking a more active role in opposing apartheid.
Anger, there's guilt, there's shame.
If this is the way you felt at the time, why didn't you open your mouth?
As a Jew, what were we doing about apartheid?
I don't want you to lecture me about being a member of the human community, though, when you didn't. You left.
You may be taking people back to where they would rather not go.
I feel almost hurt by your words.
Friedman, who is a South African expat himself, said the film raises challenging questions about being a bystander.
Wrong Side of the Bus is very much about the conscience of a bystander. It's in the context of South Africa, but it could apply to any of us who are bystanders in all sorts of areas of our lives. I know that applies to me. I'm hoping that this film will provide something of a fresh perspective on the complication, the complexity of South African history.
And the Festival of Jewish Cinema kicks off in Sydney and Melbourne next week. You can find out more at jewishfilmfestival.com.au. We now cross to David Weiner for the Sports Roundup.
Thanks, Lexi. We'll start in Sydney this week, where the Maccabi Hakoah State League football side has appointed Paul Watkins as its first grade coach for 2010. The club was considering approaching a marquee coach, but had been impressed with Watkins' work as reserve grade mentor this past season. Also in Sydney, and Maccabi New South Wales reappointed Ruth Nissim as president of the roof body last week. To summer club action, and the Maccabi Basketball Club's third-string side, the Rockets, is gearing up for its grand final on Sunday night. To Melbourne, and Ajax cricket captain Dave Gelbard's 5-wicket haul has his side in a strong position after day one of their two-day match. The side is looking to break its duck this summer with a win next weekend. Meanwhile, South Australian redback Michael Klinger continues to endure a slow start to his domestic one-day season. He scored 29 of 54 balls against Victoria yesterday after being surprisingly omitted from the side's first match of the campaign. Finally, to some big international news, an Israeli basketballer Omri Caspi made his NBA debut in America on Wednesday for the Sacramento Kings. He's the first Israeli to do so. They're the sports headlines. Back to you, Lexi.
Thanks, David, and let's hope the Maccabi Rockets bring home the silverware on Sunday. For all these stories and more, check out the Australian Jewish News, available every Thursday at your local newsagent. And log on to jewishnews.net.au for all the latest in news and views in the Jewish world.